Hello everyone. I hope you're doing well. And I'm starting a new course called Cloud Computing with Serverless Framework. And so yeah, this is complete. Full course is completely free. And what we are going to build in this complete course is we're going to build a microservice-based project where we'll be integrating with different services which are provided by AWS. And we are going to be completely focusing on the hands-on practical in this course with integration with Serverless Framework. And I'll be giving few tasks which you are going to perform in this complete like journey. And yeah, that's it with the intro. Let's go and start with the course. Okay, so yeah, let me start with like what is cloud computing. Okay, what is cloud computing and why nowadays like every company is moving towards cloud computing. So yeah, before moving into like what is cloud and what is like cloud computing, so you should be why we moved. So the basic idea behind this is, so let's assume like an operating system. Okay, like everyone usually use operating system, right? So right now which we are running this software is on top of operating system. So if you see, the purpose of operating system is to just run any software, just running a software. So what does that mean? Running a software means it can be software or app or any application. Okay, it will be running and providing some output first. So the only purpose is like you can say like the operating system, whatever the functionality it does, its purpose is to just run a software or an application. And whatever the application whoever develops, they will be writing few logics in it to perform some actions or something. But you can think like, okay, I'll just give you the understanding of how each software performs. The core underlying thing, any software in this entire world, is to just handle the data, just manipulate the data, convert the data, or handle the data. So this is the like core understanding of any software. So if you go to like any computer, any software, any developed application, they're finally going to do and handle the data. So if you see, I'm just moving the cursor. The cursor is like you can think like people has created like few coordinates. Wherever you move the cursor, it's like moving across the entire coordinate boards. So each and every point, or even you can think like a pixel or a point, is it's like a coordinates. It's some kind of a data. So whenever you are moving, so there is some action is performed. That action is also a data. So each and everything, even the mouse cursor, it's like one of the software or a program, it is handled or manipulating some kind of data. So what we are going to conclude is like handling the data is done by software, and software creation, software handling is done by all the developers. And this software is going to run by an operating system, and it's going to like take care of everything from starting launching application, like handling running it, and then like whenever you close the program or a software, it's just going to destroy it from the operating system. So what happens is like underlying thing is like for any operating system to run, we need a hardware. Okay, so without hardware, you cannot run a software. So to be precise, there are two things. One is CPU and RAM. These are the two main important components to run any operating system, or even the respective software or applications are run on top of these two itself. Of course, we're going to have hardware from where we are going to pull out the respective IAM or respective ISO image files, or even those are softwares or libraries. We call it as, we are going to like pull them and place it on top of RAM and CPU. Okay, without hardware also, it's possible to have operating system running. Okay, so these two are called as compute services. So the terminology is like these two like does some computations, and they just provide anything after the computation. So we just call it as like compute services, or else we can call it as like computing services. So finally, what we will be concluding is like we want to run some software. Why we want to run is to handle some data, to do some operations, to modify some data, anything. Okay, so we need a software. So once we create software, we need to run with the software. So the entire thing is handled by operating system. But for operating system, we definitely need a hardware means CPU, RAM, hard disk, network cards. There are many things within the hardware. So right now we are just focusing on the main core components which are utilized in hardware. So this is the like basic understanding. We'll be slowly moving towards what is cloud computing. I'm just giving the base introduction, like why we are moving towards that. You'll just slowly get to know it. So like finally we are stuck with the hardware, right? We need definitely hardware. So here comes challenges. Like there are many challenges. So let's assume you're recently passed out, or like you're undergrad, and you're doing some project in terms of your coursework. So in that case, you thought of like go and just buy a laptop to uh, uh, to just do some project in towards your like project. So in that case, you just go and buy a laptop. You just give some upfront amount, okay, just build a project, okay, but you're not sure that in future you're going to use that laptop or not. So in the case there is like a lot of amount wasted. But let's assume your laptop costs like 50K. In that case, uh, you have used your 50K in building your single project, okay, but finally once you are done with your project, you're not going to use this and your 50K is lost. So this is like one of the problem. Once the software is buy, like once you buy it, and if you don't use it, then you lost your amount. So similarly, there are like many companies who have invested a lot of amount in buying the hardware, or uh, like many data centers, okay. There are many softwares, many hardwares are being like buy from different companies, and they might be using, or they might not be using. If they are using, it's been utilized for some reason, and they're like it's like profitable thing. But if they're not using, it's like loss for them. So many companies have tried to resolve this issue, but in earlier days it was very hard to handle. Like, let's go to like some store and just buy some hardware, and whenever we are done with usage, we can return it, something like that. But there is no such kind of lease kind of thing to go and get some hardware and use it. So here comes different things, that finally you need some compute services or some hardware from somewhere, okay. You need to buy it. Without buying, how can you use it? So here comes a concept called cloud computing, okay, where you don't need anything, but you need some kind of computing, okay. It can be anywhere. We call it as like cloud. So it's like you need computing and it's there somewhere. So this term like cloud computing completely refers and solves a problem. Like, you need a software, and whenever you need it, you can get it from somewhere. And even like this cloud has many meanings. It's like you can get how much you want. You can get like, you, if you want like 5 GB RAM or like 16 GB RAM, anything, any number of GB you want, you can just get it. So it's like infinite number of storage or compute services or hardware or anything. If you get from somewhere, as long as you need, so in that case, you can say like this is like cloud computing. I guess you got the entire understanding, like from where we started and from where we ended, what's the problem, and how different companies are solving this cloud computing. It's like there are many companies, okay, like AWS, Amazon, which is like a part of Amazon, and Azure, Alibaba. There are like many companies which provide these kind of services, or like you can say like compute services over a cloud, okay, over the network. So you can go and buy those hardware whenever you want, and you can just like give it back to them. It's like kind of like you can give them back once you have used it. So there is a good name called like pay as you go model. So many cloud providers follow this mechanism. That is like, whatever the services or hardware or compute services you have used till date, pay for that. That's it. Only pay as you go, like as much you have used. That's it. So they follow this model to pay a customer. So how they are going to achieve some money is that by how much you are going to pay and how much you are going to use. As much as you use, that much you are going to pay. So that's the model they're going to use. So I think you got an idea of like what is cloud computing and what are the different cloud providers who are going to provide these compute services. So finally, you can run your software. So that's the entire like idea of how cloud computing terminology came and what is cloud computing and how different cloud providers are solving it by using a model called pay as you go. So this is like the core fundamental idea of any cloud provider. So once you understand this underlying problem and how we are going to like tackle one after the other problem, and we are going to use these cloud providers and solve it. Okay, that's how we are going to understand what is cloud computing. So if you see, let me show you a few diagrams. Okay, what exactly I'm trying to like convey. So this is like the main AWS console page, where from here you're going to like sign into it. This is one of the main AWS, like one of the provider of cloud computing or cloud computing services provider, which is like AWS. Okay, so we'll be like in future going to like explore a lot of things. Once you just log in, you just land over here, and you'll be exploring different services from here. But before that, we need to understand how exactly they are going to provide the hardware for us. So if you see here, just now I showed you how exactly what is the problem, and like what is the problem. It's like running a software, we need a hardware. So who provides the hardware is different cloud providers. So the final goal is like we need hardware. So how we are going to get the hardware? It's like they call it as like data centers. Okay, if you type data centers of AWS, you can just go into images. You can clearly see like there are many racks over here. These are like, you can think like if you just once open it, this single rack has a you can think like this is one of the operating system, one of the hardware device with compute services, okay, with a CPU and RAM. Just imagine like that. It doesn't fit in one single rack. Each cloud provider has handled it differently in the data centers by managing the optimizations and the speed, right? uh, they have like figured out how to place them in optimized way. We can just discuss this later, but just you can think like each rack has a some kind of hardware which are connected over network. You can see the cables, right? So these are the network cables which are connected to each service or each hardware, and these are going to be like going to provide in each of the service provider. So how you, if once if you just go to any service and just if you want to ask, like let's assume if you need a CPU, you can just go to this provider, which is like a console board, go and ask them, I need a CPU of some kind of a nice company and a nice processor. If you want, you can just ask them. If you want like 16 GB RAM, just go to this AWS provider, ask them. Like in future, we're going to explore it how you're going to ask them. But I'm just giving an extra knowledge that how exactly and where our data, like our software, right? Finally, our application is going to run. Where exactly it's going to run? It's in the data center over here, and the response which we are going to get over the network. So yeah, it's like how deeply you're going to understand this one is it's going to like give you a clear picture how the internet is going to work. Yeah, so coming to the next thing is you finally we just learned whatever we learned is what's the problem like running a software. We need a hardware, and for hardware we're going to go and use different cloud providers. One is like AWS right now we're going to focus on, and they store everything in the data centers. So and we just want to know like where these data centers are. So Amazon provides a concept called AWS Regions. Okay, they just share us where exactly they are going to like have the data centers. Okay, right now if you see, I'm like closer to northeast or like east part of USA. So if you see there are like different dots over here. Each dot specify that they're like it's like a region. Okay, if you see like they just have like North America, South America, Europe, and different areas like different continents. But you can think like uh, if you see select like US East, once you select it, it just populates like a it's like a highlighting thing where this is like one of the region they're going to have. Region is like a it's like a particular place where they're going to have like many data centers. Okay, so they are like having multiple AZs, but I'll give you a clarity about what is an AZ and what exactly they mean AZ means. But you can think like in this region they're going to have like multiple data centers like this. So if you see here like this one, this is the image you can see clearly. They'll be having complete uh, racks of data centers. So they'll be like monitoring it, and they'll just maintain it everything for you. Whenever you want something, you just ask them, they'll just give you. So that's the thing they're going to use. And once you just go into this dashboard, also you can clearly see from which region you can get the services. You can just select any one region closer to you. It depends, right? So let's assume why this region I'm just expanding is, let's assume you're running a software in some other region. Let's assume you are in US East. Okay, let's assume you are somewhere in Virginia. Let's assume. Okay, some whenever you deploy your application and your application is being used by somewhere in India. Okay, in that case, whenever you deployed your application in East, your Virginia, and the people you are using are from India, they're going to have some latency. That means the application is much slower, slowly rendered to them whenever you deploy the application over here. So the region is very important whenever you are going to like get some services from where you are going to use it. Okay, so that's the region, like that's the place exactly this region is used. So we can discuss this much in the future videos. For now, you can think like these are the things. These are the basic intro of what's cloud computing and what are the different cloud providers. And with AWS, we're going to move forward with our course, and we're going to like build different projects within this. And these are like going to be complete hands-on practicals. Okay. Yeah, and there is I said like these will be completely task oriented, project oriented, right? So in this first video, I'll be showing few things. Once you just type like AWS and just enter, and if you just open this cloud computing services, over here you can see like there are like solutions and products. Okay, products, we are going to discuss whatever the important products, services which they are providing. Okay, in our course in future, we are going to learn about serverless and the integration part. But now let's focus on the solutions. These solutions are like many industries are already using cloud, and how it has been useful for them, and how they implemented it. So that's how they are going to like they're just sharing it to us. Let's assume in terms of like more automotive. Once you just click on it, and it's based on industry. Okay, once you click on automotive and go to that industry, you can see like there are like many companies who have benefited from AWS, and they have like different architectures, different problems, and they just solve it completely differently. Okay, if you go through and click on any one of the solution and just learn it, how they have implemented it, and just write a blog about it. You can think like this is like first task. Go through as many as possible, whichever industry you are working on, whichever industry you are interested in, just go through that. If you are interested in healthcare, government, manufacturing, any industry you are interested in, just go into it, just click on it, just learn it, and just write a blog on it. You can just write it and just post it anywhere you want. Okay, so that's the first task we're going to have from my end. And yep, so that's it from my end for the first video. And feel free to have any suggestions, any questions. You can just comment down below. I'll just try to answer it as possible in the next video. Yeah, thank you. Have a good one.